Shalom. Before we start, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Hufa elect. Alright, and before we start, if you hear the a sound in the background, that's the heater. Alright, got the heater on. But today we're gonna deal with we're gonna get into what the lesson that Bishop Nate did, you know, because he went off on a lot of things, you know, and I just want to bring out some things that he went off on and give correction, and a little willingness is edifying. So I just want to hop straight into it and get started. All right.
And they
Start at verse. Let me look at it first, Jerry. I want 7, but I might want to hear 4. Let me hear 4.
Revelation chapter 20
All right. So he's in Revelation 20 and 4.
and verse 4.
I want y'all to listen good.
And
Now this goes between Ezekiel 37 and 38. Go ahead.
and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
I saw the souls of them that was beheaded for the witness of Jesus. Go ahead.
I just want to say, the son's name is not Jesus. All right. The son's name is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right. That's in the Hebrew. They don't the difference. They don't deal with the Hebrew or the Greek. No, they don't go into none of those things. You know, they don't even call on the names of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. So that's one thing we gotta get right. Gotta get right the names. And you see the name of their camp, IUIC, Israel United in, you know, Christ. His name not Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick.
The apostles in them. Go ahead.
And for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast nor his image.
Now that's the rest of us today. And which have not worshipped the beast, what?
Neither his image.
Or his image. That's the image of the beast, the white Jesus. Go ahead, and all that pertains to that. Come on.
And the image is not white Jesus. All right. The image is the new world. The beast is the Roman Empire. All right, which is revived through America. All right, which is NATO and the EU. The image is the New World Order, you know, that they want to create. All right, and you know the mark, of course, the RFID chip.
Neither had received his mark upon.
Matter of fact, let's go to that real fast. Revelation 20, in verse 4, it says, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast," which is the Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire. All right, through the when you go into Daniel chapter 2. All right, let's go to that. This is Daniel 2. This is dealing in Daniel chapter 2. That's dealing with the statue. All right. You see the king's dream. Let's get just some of it, you know, to go over. It says the king's dream. I believe it says, yep. It says, "Thou, O king," verse 31. "Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image head was of fine gold. His breast and his arms are silver." And Salakia, the image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet are part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out of Salakia. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. All right. So this is the image of the statue. All right. So you know the fine gold was the Babylonian Empire. You know, that was the first kingdom. All right, and the second was the Medo-Persia. All right, and the third was Greece. You know, with Alexander the Great and all that. Rome was the fourth. All right, and that's the legs of iron. All right, this is Rome. It says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. That's where we are now. All right. The kingdom is divided among, because from the first Edomite kingdom was started in Greece. It was Alexander the Greek. All right, that's when they first came back into power. All right, and through that, and from Greek on to up to now is when they continued to rule. So it says, whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of the iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. That's what we're in now. All right, then it goes to the others. All right, so let's go back to Revelation 20. It said, I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the witness, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image. All right, the image is the New World Order. Neither had received his mark, which is the RFID chip, or the RFID chip. We could just say the microchip, because upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they live and reign with the anointed, with the Messiah, 1,000 years. All right, so let's continue.
On their foreheads.
Noah believed in his policies. Go ahead.
Or in their hands.
And we didn't struggle.
He said policies though. Let's replay that.
To that. Come on.
Neither had received his mark upon their forehead.
Noah believed in his policies.
Policies. Where he's getting policies from? That's not what that is. If you go into the word mark, I think I passed it. So I'll get y'all. Hold on. Oh no, I didn't. Look at what it says. It says Karagma. All right, let's play it.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
Excuse me, y'all. All right, Harigma or Karagma, right? It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. This is gonna be a physical mark going into your hand. All right, a physical thing. It says the mark branded upon horses, names carved, sculpture, graven work. Down here it says a scratch or etching, i.e., stamp as a badge of servitude or sculptured figure, statue, graven mark. So this is a mark that's going to physically go on your hand, on your forehead. Look at what Elon Musk is doing. He got the Neuralink that he wants to put in people's heads. And they were testing on animals before. Now people are lining up to get this mark, to get that brain chip. So that's what it's physically talking. This is a physical mark. This is not policies or it's not spiritual. None of that. This is a physical mark that's gonna go into your hand or on your forehead. All right. So let's continue.
Go ahead.
Or in their hands.
And we didn't struggle with it. We didn't take part in it. Go ahead.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
We lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. I'm going to say something now.
And let me say this real quick. When you read Revelation 20, this jumps, back and forth. All right. Like Apostle Aronlon said when he did a breakdown on this. All right. You should go watch that. Take notes. All right. He did a breakdown on Revelation 20. It jumps, back and forth, in between different periods of time. Like Revelation 20, Revelation 20, 1 through 3, that's talking about Esau's captivity. Well, not captivity, but when they were in prison, during the Dark Ages, they were, not really much in prison, but like they were, what's the word I'm looking for? You could say in prison, because they weren't prosperous, none of that. They were dwelling in the mountains. They were in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, and that pit was Europe. This is when Jake was ruling us so-called, they say Moors, but they were Israelites. You know, they were ruling, you know, over Europe and over different lands for 1,000 years. All right. So 1 through 3, that goes into Esau, Edom's. You know, they were in captivity during that time. You can see that. And then we jump down here, verses 7 and 7 and 8. That's when they loosed. You know, that's when they're let out. That's when they came back during the Renaissance period. All right, and they began to rule until then, until now. You know, so Revelation 20 jumps around. All right,
Beware of these dumb Israelite camps.
let's read
Lived
it.
and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
We lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. I'm going to say something now. Beware of these dumb Israelite camps that say we lived and reigned with Christ during the dark ages. Was our people...
And nobody teaches that. You know, well, I know that GMS don't teach it, and I'm not in GMS, but you know, I follow them. They don't teach that. And if any Israelite camp teaches that, they're going off completely. So I don't know where he got that from.
righteous during the dark ages? Hell no, we was wicked as hell. So you mean to tell me Christ was sitting with us? We was reigning with him during the dark ages?
And no, you know, like I said, whoever teaches that, you know, they're going off. So I don't know where he's getting all this from, right?
When we was worshiping Mary, worshiping idols? Are you crazy? Huh? Read it again, that bottom part.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
Verse 5.
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Here's another thing. Beware of dumb Israelite camps that say, oh, you can sin. It don't matter what kind of sin you in. You coming back as a baby in the kingdom of heaven. So if you're a child molester or homosexual.
And that's true. You know, 2/3 will come back in the kingdom as children. All right, let's prove that. First, let's go to Zechariah 13. This is Zechariah 13 and 8. It says, "It shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, whose name is Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." All right, and that third is the 1/3, the elect. All right, Lord willing, we hope and we pray that we're a part of that number. All right, verse 9. "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh is my power." All right, so that's good. You know, that's gonna happen. Now let's get Isaiah. I believe it's 65. There's new heavens and new earth. All right, I start at 17. It says, "For behold, I create new heavens and new earth. The former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoice." Salakia. Let's read that. "But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy." Verse 19. "I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not fulfilled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed. For they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord Yahweh, and their offspring with them." So the 2/3 will come back through the elect. All right, in the kingdom. All right, like we just read it. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord. All right, and their offspring with them. Let's look at let's get that. We know what offspring is, but let's just prove it. All right. It says offspring, produce, issue, descendants. Right. Strong's definition: produce children. All right. So children are gonna come back. You will come back as a baby in the kingdom. All right. The 2/3 through the elect of the 1/3. All right.
Sexual and adulterer, drug addict, drug user, drug abuser, it doesn't matter. You'll die and come back as a baby in the kingdom of
Yes, you will. Isaiah 65:23 proves that. We just read it.
heaven. Read verse 5 again. Listen what the Bible says.
Come on now, dog.
But the rest of the dead live not again.
No, they came back as a baby, Yuri.
Come on, man. He don't believe that. He said, but the rest of the dead live not again until 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection, you know. And that dead is going to the other nations. All right. That dead is talking about the other nations, not Israelites. Let's see. Nope. It was a verse I just had in my mind. Let me see, Proverbs. Is it 20? Salaki, hold on, y'all. The dead. I know it's one in Proverbs. Let's see. Nope. But the dead is talking about the other nations. All right, it's not talking about the Israelites, because like we read, because the other nations are going in the captivity. They're gonna be serving 1,000 years. All right, we can, you know, we can prove that they're going into slavery. What's that? Isaiah 14. This is Isaiah 14:1. It says, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and those strangers are Israelite foreigners, not the other nations. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids." All right, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Right. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. So those other nations are going into captivity. They're going into slavery. All right. For 1,000 years, and then the other nation will be let loose, and they'll be not let loose. They'll let go into their other land, but they're going to be forced to keep our laws. You know, let's get that. Isaiah. Let's get Micah. Let's go to Micah. This is Micah 4:1. It says, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains," and that mountain is the government. You know, so the government of the Lord, who are the Israelites, are going to be established. We're going to be on top. We're going to rule. All right. It says, "It shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of God of Jacob. And he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. All right. And these nations they're gonna flow unto us. They're gonna want to learn our ways. All right, and Esau, Edom, they're gonna be burnt off. Let's get Obadiah. 1 and 18. It says, "In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it." All right, so the Esau, they're gonna be rounded up, and they're gonna be burned, We're gonna burn them up. So let's continue.
Live not again.
He came back as a baby, Yuri?
Lived not again.
Until when?
Until the 1,000 years were finished.
Until the 1,000.
Like we said, 1,000 years are, when those other nations are in slavery. All right.
Years were finished. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
This is the first resurrection.
Now, just keep reading. Just keep reading.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part.
Souls all returns. We all want part of that first resurrection. Go ahead.
On such, the second death hath no power.
That's when Christ judges the whole planet, all generations, all souls, all spirits. Go ahead.
But they shall be priests of God.
Those of us that take part in the first resurrection shall be priests of God.
And of Christ.
And of Isaiah 24. I just want you to see it. Isaiah 24, the second to last verse.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit.
I just want you to see it.
Salakia.
Isaiah 24, the second to last verse.
And when the 1,000 years are expired.
Now this goes back to what we read in Isaiah 24. And when the 1,000 years are expired, go ahead.
Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back to Isaiah 24.
And then Satan is Esau, Edom. They're gonna be let loose because they came back during the Renaissance era. All right, but he tries to say that they're gonna be loosed in the kingdom of heaven. All right, and that's not true.
I just want you to see it. Isaiah 24, the second to last verse.
Let's go to that. Let's go to Isaiah 24. This is Isaiah 24:22. It says, "And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited." All right. And this is talking about the top elites. All right. They're going to be visited. The Lord's going to visit these people. They're going to be put in slavery. They're going to be put in chains. All right. They're not going to be let loose in the kingdom of heaven so they can come up against us.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. And shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days.
Many days is how long, brothers? 1,000 years?
Shall they be.
That's not what's going into. Those days, that doesn't say. Bro. You can't make this up, man. He's going off. All right, he's trying to say that that's to the Lord. 1 day is to the Lord. So let's get that. What's that? 2 Peter. What was that first? No, I was wrong. I think it is 2 Peter. 2 Peter 3. Let's see. 1 day. 1,000. 3 and 8, so I was right. Okay. This is 2 Peter 3 and 8 says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that 1 day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as 1 day." So 1 day to the Lord is 1,000 years. All right. He's trying to say that for when wrong chapter. He's trying to say that for this. He's trying to say that, "And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days," he's trying to say that those days are 1,000 years, "shall be visited." No. Let's
visited.
Now let's go back to Revelation 20, verse 7.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
The white man that we lock up in the Caucasus Mountains again, we're going to let them loose. They're going to be loosed after 1,000 years. Go ahead.
Says who? He's trying to say this is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. That's not true, man. All right, we read in Obadiah that they're going to be burned up. Obadiah 1:18, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. So they're gonna be destroyed. Who gonna let them loose? They're not gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. They're gonna be slaves, but after 1,000 years they're gonna be dead. They're gonna be burned up. So where's he getting that from? That's why this is important. You gotta learn. This is why it's important to be careful who you watch and who you listen to. All right. And the apostles get on him all the time.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Now let me tell you something about verse 8. In verse 8, there's time in there. In order for Gog and Magog to gather together the nations against God's people, that takes time. It does not take a day. It does not take a year. Because not only do you got to gather nations, you also need what to come up against us? Weapons. Because remember, when we rule, if y'all remember, in Isaiah 2, what did we do? Nation learned what? War no more. We made them beat their swords into plowshares. So for 1,000 years, there's no war on the earth. Now we loose this white man. Gog and Magog go.
No, we don't. That's not scriptural at all. That's what Isaiah 2. And that's the same thing as Micah 4:1. It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Salakia. All right, I ain't wanting any interruptions. And he shall judge among the nations, and he shall rebuke many people. It's lucky, y'all. Hold on. It's lucky, y'all. Hold on. Give me one second. Had to move, y'all. All right, and it says, he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's what's going to happen. So why would they come up against us? You know, let's get Isaiah, I think it's 66. Nope. Go back a chapter. Isaiah, I think it's 60. Yep. It says, Isaiah 16:18. It says, "Violence shall not be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise." All right. So there's gonna be no more violence in the land when we rule. So okay, y'all hold on. No. All right, I had to come outside. So let's read it again. It says, "Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, thy gates praise." All right, so we're gonna be safe in our land. How are we gonna be safe if, Esau is gathering up the nations to come up against us? That's not what's gonna happen. All right. So let's
Go out to gather together the nations. Time is in there. And it does not say how long it takes.
where's it say that at? Where does he say Esau's gonna go out and gather the nations? It doesn't. He's deceiving his congregation.
Read verse 8 again.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Read.
And they went up on.
Let's get that. Revelation 20. This was Satan free, doomed. All right. So Esau during the Renaissance era came back, and they ruled, right? And it says, "And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth." And they're doing that. They did that. They changed they did that through through everything. They changed the faces of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and the angels to their image. They deceived the other nations. They made them drink that Babylon juice, right? It says, "And they shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea." All right, and let's go to Joel 3. Joel 3 now it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And that's what's happening. All these the weak nations before, North Korea, other nations like that, they're strong now. They got nuclear power. All right. But this is not going to happen in the kingdom. No, this is happening now. Esau, Edom, they deceive all nations. They deceive everybody through their philosophies, through their, the lies, right?
The breadth of the earth,
And what they do?
and compass the camp of the saints about.
So remember, Isaiah 2 again. The mountain of the Lord shall be exalted above all mountains and all hills. You got to look up at it. So they're going to say, you know what? We can defeat them.
We're going to have spiritual power. So how they going to defeat us? Let's get feeble among. Let's get Zechariah. This is Zechariah 12. And I'm going to start at 7. It says, "The Lord Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. And that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And David, we all know about David, right? David was a strong guy, right? He was a strong warrior, all right. He went out in the war. It said we read about David. It says Saul slay 1,000, David 10,000. David was out there, giving people the business, right? And the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. All right. So we're gonna have the Lord's gonna give the elect spiritual powers. All right. So how they gonna defeat us? And let's not forget, Yahushua, King David, and the elect, we're all gonna be there. So how they gonna defeat us with spiritual powers? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
They got to get all the nations in agreement with that thing first. So read it again.
And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. Mm-hmm. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
Go ahead.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are.
So where America and the 7 heads and 10 horns and the church system are already at. So this lets you know time has gone by. Let's go back to Ezekiel 38 now. So I'm going to say something else.
All right, listen to this. All right.
Don't let...
He's in Ezekiel 38.
Black. So this lets you know time has gone by. Let's go back to Ezekiel 38 now. So I'm going to say something else. Don't let black Hebrew Israelites fool you into saying Ezekiel 38 is today.
And it is today. All right, that's happening right now.
These black Hebrew Israelites get that dumb doctrine from Christians. Christians will read Ezekiel 38 and go, that's today. Have we reigned with Christ 1,000 years yet, brothers? No, we have not. So now we're in Ezekiel 38. Come on.
Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. Mm-hmm. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against them.
So this area is that area of Khazaria. Put the map up.
All right, so let's go to that. This is Ezekiel 38. It says in verse 1, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. All right, because the Lord's against Gog and Magog, because this used to belong to the land of the Japhites. The sons of Japheth used to dwell in this land. But now Edom, the Edomites took over. You got Putin. He's an Edomite. All the Ukrainians, all those Edomites over there, they rule that land. All right. That's why the Lord's against Gog and Magog. All right.
I want Russia. I want Khazaria. This is that area.
Matter of fact, let's prove that real fast. Let's go to Genesis, Salakia, 27. All right, Genesis 27 and 38 says, And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered, said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And that happened, during King David's reign, and also when he went, when we were ruling in Europe, when they were sent into those mountains, right? And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And they did. All right. And they came into power. All right, so that's how they got the land of Magog, and how they got all their lands, because they lived by the sword, and that was their blessing, to rule over the earth. All right.
Find me the map, because we pushing them right. That ain't it. We pushing them right back to where they were at Like when you read in, hey, you know what I want right now? While they're looking for the map? Job 30. We want verse, I think 1 through 5. I'm not looking at it.
30 verse 1. But now they that are younger than I,
that are younger than I, meaning they're not the heirs of God. They're not his firstborn. We're God's firstborn. So that's what it means, they that are younger than I. Go ahead. Talking about the white man. Go ahead.
They that are younger than I have me in derision.
Read.
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Come on.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was
Fast forward.
I want the caves of Khazaria, the Caucasus Mountains. Right there. Yuri, read.
Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat.
Uh-huh.
They were driven forth from among men.
We have drove them forth from among men. Go ahead.
They cried after them as after a thief.
We chased them like they stole something. Go ahead.
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys.
That's it right there. To dwell in the cliffs of the valley.
In caves of the earth.
In caves of the earth. Go ahead.
And in the rocks.
And in the rocks. So that was during the Renaissance, but guess what?
You know, and they that wasn't during the Renaissance, because when in the Renaissance means rebirth. They came back during the Renaissance. All right, that was during the Dark Ages when we pushed them into the rocks. You know, they're not from the Caucasus Mountains. They're from Mount Seir. That's their original, homeland. That's where they come from, Mount Seir.
Back to.
Now let's get that word. Let's get that definition for Renaissance. I think I already have it. Let's just get it. Renaissance. Oops. Okay. I know I got it. Salakia, hold on, give me a minute. There it is, Renaissance. This is it says a great period of revival of classical-based art and learning in Europe that began in the 14th century. All right, it says be reborn, It said rebirth. I know it says rebirth here. It says be born again, rise again, reappear, be renewed. And that's, you could say that they rose, to power. All right. Oh, there it is. It says Renaissance right here. Let me see if I can highlight it. Rebirth. All right. So they came back. All right.
Ezekiel 24, read that part again. It says they shall be shut up in prison.
Yes, sir. Isaiah. Yes, sir.
Isaiah, I'm sorry. Isaiah 24. I ain't looking at the verse. Help me out.
Yes, sir. I got you. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited.
They're going right back to that same prison. You remnant of Edomites, y'all cannot go past the Caucasus Mountains. Y'all stay right there.
And they're not going back to the Caucasus Mountains. They're going to be burned up, They're going to be, after they serve their 1,000 years of slavery, they're going to be destroyed. All right? The Lord is gonna burn these people up. They're not going back anywhere.
But then guess what? The Lord's going to tell us, release them. Let them go out. And their job, Gog and Magog, they're going to gather together an assembly of nations. They're going to be building weapons again. So now back to Ezekiel 38.
That's not true. That's not true, man. All right. The Lord's not going to tell us to let them out. Why would he tell us that? Let's see if nope. Slovakia. No, let's continue. I thought I
Verse
had
2.
it, but I didn't. I lost
Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Come on.
And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army.
So God wants them to war against us. Go ahead.
No, that's not scriptural, man. No, he does not. You know, we just read in Isaiah 6 that we're gonna dwell in our land safely. So why would they war? Why would they come back and war against us again? This doesn't make any sense, man. All right, and this is complete madness. Honestly, this is madness, and you know he's going off. You know, let's see if I can. What scripture I want to get? Let me see. Is that 17? Yeah, this is Ezekiel 17 and 14. It says, And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in the book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. All right, and Amalek is a part of Edom, Esau. All right, they're the chief tribe of the Edomites. All right, and the Lord's going to get rid of these people. All right, so they're not going to gather nations, and the nations are going to be a subjection unto us. We just read it in Isaiah 2 and Micah chapter 4. Let's get another one. Let's get Zechariah. That's 14. Zechariah 14 says God will be king over all. All right. This is I'm gonna start at 12. Zechariah 14 and 12, and it says, and this, let me see, hold on. Nope, that's not what I want. Zechariah 14:16, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which come up against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come, that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. All right, they will get no rain if they're not doing what they're told, and they're gonna be punished. You know. And it says, if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they have no rain. There shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. All right, and they're gonna, like we read, they're gonna learn our ways. They're gonna learn our laws. We're gonna tell them what to do and what not to do. All right. So let's get Revelation 2:26. It says, And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give my power over the nations. And he shall rule with a rod of iron, as the vessels of potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father. All right, we're gonna rule these people with a rod of iron, with a strong mighty arm. All right, through our Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. He's gonna give us that, that power. Lord willing, we be of the elect. All right, let's get Psalms 149. It's Psalms 149 and 5. It says, Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, and their noble with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and that's gonna happen. All right, so I don't know where he's getting all this. They're gonna come up against us. They're gonna try to. The Lord wants us to fight. Wants them to have a war. No, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. All right, so I just wanted to bring out a few points of that. All right, I want to give up. I hope this I hope this lesson was edifying to whoever views it. I'll probably do more later. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the whole for elect. All right, to the next video, Lord willing. Shalom.